First question's from Dave Assay. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Ferg, I was just curious how your rehab has gone so far.
It's good. I can probably, I don't know, I think I've thrown maybe 5 or 6 times through today. We're out to like 60 feet for like 15 or 20 throws. But slow build up, but the arm, the elbow, everything feels great. So the process has been pretty smooth. I think we're right on track with right where we want to be. So just kind of going day by day, but everything feels good.
Were you trying, or is it hard to not try to move this process forward quicker than it has to be?
Obviously, I think I would like to try to pitch this year, but I doubt that'll happen with it being my first one or my second surgery. I mean, I've had brought it up last year when it first happened about trying to pitch in September for this year, and they shot it down immediately. So I don't know. I think we're just going to kind of follow the program and see where it takes us, and then see what happens, kind of thing. I mean, if everything's going smooth, then maybe there's a chance, but we haven't really had any of those talks. It's just kind of been getting the range of motion back, making sure everything's good, making sure the elbow's, where it needs to be at, and then going from there.
Do you believe it, with your role as a reliever, there's a greater chance of coming back after a second Tommy John surgery and being successful?
Yeah, I think there's enough out there, even as a starter. I mean, guys that have 2 still have a lot of success. Obviously, like Strasburg, I'm pretty sure had 2. And a guy that really comes to mind that I talked to a lot when he was with us was Daniel Hudson, who had 2. And that guy's doing just fine. So, I think the success rate with 2 is still pretty good. It's just, you got to maybe take things a little bit slower and be on the safer side of things when it comes down to it.
Thank you.
Next question from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Caleb, you mentioned success rate without having 2. What did you learn about that? Were you nervous at first? Were you scared when you were told that you need Tommy John a second time? And when you kind of get reassured that you can come back and be just as good, if not better?
I wasn't really nervous or worried because there's been plenty of guys that have 2. I mean, I was obviously bummed out that I was going to miss the rest of the year. I mean, I think we had like 6 games left or something like that, 5 games, whatever it was, and not being able to finish out the season, and then obviously having to watch the team win the World Series sucked. But I don't think I was ever worried or anything. I think it was more frustrated that it had happened because I was very open with the training staff about everything, and they did everything they could do on their end. I did everything I could do on mine, and it's just one of those things where it just kind of happened. But like I said, I mean, there's plenty of guys that have had 2 TJs and are still pitching in the game today. So I just got to do the time, do the rehab, and get back out there.
Where did you watch the postseason? Where were you?
On my couch in Ohio. In my place in Ohio. So I thought about flying down to Texas, but I had already really sucked watching it from my couch, knowing that I would be in the bullpen. But it is what it is. I watched every pitch, I watched every out, didn't miss a single game, so single pitch, and I was obviously very happy whenever Julio struck that guy out.
And where did you spend most of your off season rehabbing? Was it
back home in Ohio? I have a PT there that I've done some things with in the past. He runs a couple clinics at Ohio State, and one of our PTs actually worked with him whenever he was with the Indians. So they have a good trust with that guy. So I just did all my stuff at home. There's really not much you can do the first couple weeks, first couple months really of rehab for a Tommy John. It's just kind of laying around and moving your arm to certain degrees and trying to just get your range of motion back and get some of the swelling out. But it kind of worked out perfect to come out here. I came out here February 1st, and that's when you kind of start working into like some plyos and start moving the arm in the direction of a throw. So
Are you spending a lot of time with Tommy Canley?
I do, yeah. Yeah, we our lockers right next to each other. We rehab obviously at the same time. Tommy's a great guy. He's hilarious.
Thanks, man.
Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Caleb, does it help having gone through this before because you know what to expect, or does it hurt because you know exactly how long and tedious the recovery is?
I get that question a lot, and I really don't know how to answer it because I don't remember anything from my first one. It seemed like my first one took a lot longer to get range of motion back, but I could be wrong. It was so long ago. I mean, it was 6 years ago is whenever I had my first one. So I don't really remember a ton from it. I think it's going to be a little bit easier in terms of the rehab side, the treatment side of it, because I have better resources than my first go around. But it's still going to suck because of how long the process is. I mean, I absolutely hate being hurt, and I think everybody does too. So I try to spend, my rule of thumb is always to try to spend the least amount of time in a training room as I can. And that's the exact opposite of what I'm doing right now. So that definitely sucks.
Did it add to the frustration that you were really pitching well and had become a valuable part of that bullpen?
Yeah, for sure. That's probably, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but that's probably the most frustrating part is I was very open, with our training staff, with the coaches. When I needed a day, I told them I needed a day. I was very open with everybody through the whole process. And the training staff did everything they could do on their end. I did everything on mine, the coaches. I mean, it's really nobody's fault. I think it was just kind of a weird thing. I mean, that they had given me multiple tests, done multiple things, and I passed everything. So nobody ever, even myself, I never thought that it would have ended up in TJ because my forearm was never sore. I had a little bit of joint stuff going on, and that's what we were always treating, and they were always giving me these Tommy John tests, and I passed every single one of them. And even in San Diego with their team doctor, I passed their team doctor's test too. So I don't know, whatever. It is what it is, but we're here now.
Is Tommy about at the same point, or one of you ahead of the other?
I think he's about a month ahead of me. His was August. He's almost 2 months, actually. We were talking about this yesterday. I think he said his was on August 4th. So he's a little bit ahead of me. So